doing, guys? Welcome to the Friday Waffle. I'm actually recording this on Thursday because probably by the time you watch this, if you're watching it on Friday that is, I'm going through to Glasgow for a silver wedding, I think it is. It's one of these things I can't be arsed going to, but anyway, such is life. So yeah, trust you've all had a decent week. Again, my week has just been absolutely bloody mental. I keep saying it every time I make a waffle. I keep saying how mental my work is. Because somebody's currently off on holiday, I'm trying to sort of manage probably more than double my normal workload, and it's just crazy. But it does make for a really quick working week. So yeah, bloody hell. I was watching back. I was going through some of my old waffles, and one thing that's is pretty evident to me is how fat I've become. I wouldn't class myself as particularly fat, but because I've not been doing much running recently, compared to what I was maybe a year ago, I've certainly put a bit of weight on. So I'm intending to change that. I mean, to let you understand, guys, I've kind of, probably because of the job, I mean, I'll be honest, because of the job, it's just so busy, I'm physically tired, and I just can't be arsed going out running. But then another part of that, which I was thinking about tonight actually, is because it's so busy at work, I can't wait for, like, you know, sort of 5 o'clock to come, whatever it is, 5:30, whatever. I'm kind of being a bit selfish with my time, and to be honest, the thought of going out for a run for a couple of hours, which doesn't leave much time until I go to my bed, I'm thinking, do I really want to do that? And you know, right now I'm not doing it. But you know what, I need to get back to running because I don't like being unfit. I mean, I don't think I'm unfit at the moment compared to probably a lot of people, but certainly compared to what I was maybe a year ago, I'm certainly fatter and a lot more unfit than I was back then. So yeah, you can look forward to a nice new slimline Mainmeister. It's just when you look at yourself in videos and you turn round, I mean, I don't know if I've got a double chin yet. I think it's kind of alright just now, but certainly fatter looking. Yeah, last week, as you probably saw, I was down in that there Coventry, the insomnia thing. Now, before I went, I didn't have any real idea what it was about. I mean, I'd never really heard of it. And all I can describe, well, if you watched the video, you probably had a rough idea of what it was like. It was kind of like a festival of gaming, rather than like these retro events that you get where it's just a big hall and with a sales bit, you know, a bit for selling stuff. This was, they had a big massive hall with loads of stuff. I mean, the majority of stuff I would say was probably PC related hardware. I mean, there was one, some of the computers that you get nowadays, it's like, bloody hell, is that a sports car or a computer? I did actually video one of them, and it's just incredible looking, quite a sexy bit of hardware, but I wouldn't even like to imagine how much something like that would actually cost. So yeah, there was a lot of PC stalls. I mean, there was eBuyer had a stall, Logitech? Yeah, Logitech I think it was, they had a stall. All these sort of stuff, but I wasn't really too interested in that. Obviously Nintendo had a stall. My daughter, I mean, she's got Splatoon, and she was playing Splatoon on the stall. She even, I think, she took part in a competition. I mean, there was like teams of 4, and she entered this competition and ended up getting to the final. I mean, they got beat 2-0 in the final, but they done really well. I was stupidly proud watching her taking part in this Nintendo thing. So yeah, that was good fun. Some games of note. The new Star Fox looked pretty damned impressive. I can't remember what it's called. Star Fox something or another for the Nintendo Wii U. Now, funny enough, somebody was talking, in fact it was Monkey Spaz, he has decided to sell off a lot of his stuff, seriously downsize. He's getting rid of his PlayStation 4, he's getting rid of loads of stuff, but and he's also selling his Wii U. And I would probably say, out of all the sort of current consoles, I mean, I don't have an Xbox One or an Xbone, whatever you want to call it, out of all the, from what I've seen on the current consoles, I mean, I've got a PS4, I've also got a Wii U, which technically belongs to Ava. I've got quite a few games for that. I would say out of the 3 machines that are currently available, I would say the Wii U is the one to go for right now. People, myself included, thought that the Wii U was going to be dead, probably about Christmas time. But there's been some great games. I mean, that Splatoon is an absolutely awesome game. I've only had one shot of it, but I was watching a lot of people playing it, and it's brilliant. Star Fox is coming out, as I've mentioned. There's also an interesting game, Mario Maker, I think it is, where you can basically make your own like Super Mario World games. But what's quite interesting, I think you can actually change the graphical style on the fly, or you can have like I don't know, an N64 Mario running along an NES platform with an NES, I was going to say turtle, mushroom, whatever you want to call them, and have SNES sprites. So you can basically have all the different incarnations of Mario on the screen at once. You can you can make your own levels, and it seemed to be as easy as getting a stylus and just kind of drawing things. That looked quite interesting. Probably won't get it because I'm not very creative when it comes to stuff like that. One interesting thing that you might have noticed if you watched that video right to the end, I was videoing a lot of stuff, but I was videoing, there was a wee girl playing this Mario game I've just mentioned, and I didn't want to be seen to video her, obviously, so I zoomed in just on the TV or on the screen, and a Nintendo person came up to me and basically says, look, you can't film that. And I says, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realise. And he says, yeah, if you're going to film it, you need to include the person playing it. Now, I didn't quite understand why. Now, all I can think about is, if you do what I did and just film the screen, then technically I could have put that up and somebody could have watched it and thinking, you know, this is a trailer for the game. Whereas if I include somebody playing it, I mean, maybe the person that was playing it was rubbish. If you can see that this is somebody else playing it, then you'll realise it's not an official trailer. I don't know, I've really no idea. If you've any idea why I would be told I had to include the person, I would have actually thought it would be the other way around. You can't video people playing games because at the end of the day that's kind of an invasion of privacy. So I don't know, an interesting one, but anyway, that was the last video I made anyway, so I wasn't too fussed at getting told. One almost a massive downer on the event. We just arrived and we were queuing up for something which I'll talk about in a wee minute, and my daughter said, I'll get the person to sign the iPad, and I said, yeah, that's a good idea, I'll get them to sign the case to put their autograph on it. So she said to me, Dad, have you got my iPad? And I says, no, you had it, I've not got it. So here we are in this conference hall with, I don't know, maybe 5,000 people, no iPad, no iPhone, and also a purse containing £70. So we basically ran about mental. I went back to the Nintendo stall and I said to the guy, I says, look, we've lost a bag, a canvas bag with an iPad, etc. Has somebody handed it in? Sorry mate, they haven't. And then the only other place we'd been to fairly recently was I was playing, I was looking at that game, the Rare Collection on the Expo, and I went up to the guy and says, look, I'm looking, and it's a long shot, what is the chance of somebody having handed in an iPad? And he said to me, what colour's the case? I said, it's green. He says, I think you might be in luck. And sure enough, it had been handed in. Now whether or not it was the guy himself that found it or somebody else had handed it in, but bloody hell, I mean, if we'd lost that, it's an iPad mini which is probably about £500, an iPhone 4 which is maybe £100, plus 70 quid, you're talking about £700 worth of equipment, so we're really lucky. Put it this way, if we hadn't found it, I think we would probably, I don't think I would have had it in me to stay there the rest of the time, because you know, my daughter was given that money as spending money, and to lose that plus an iPad plus an iPhone, I think I already just felt, I mean I did feel physically sick when I was actually looking for it, and I must admit I was really surprised when we got it back. So anyway, but you know what, that's kind of restored my faith in not human nature and the human race, something that we're all gladly or all needing when you see some of the current news at the moment with little kids getting washed up in the shore and that kind of stuff. Just horrible, horrible stuff. But anyway, this isn't a news thing. Let's say just try and sort of stay upbeat. So I'm going to pause it a second. Okay, right, got a couple of things I want to waffle about. As I've just mentioned, I was at this insomnia thing now. One of the biggest, it was my daughter that wanted to go to it, and the reason being is because she watches, as I've mentioned, she watches people playing Minecraft, and there was 2 or 3 of her favourite YouTubers were going to be down there doing a sort of Q&A thing. So sure enough, we went down, and there were 3 people doing a Q&A. Now they were doing this in front of, I would say, an audience of maybe 500 to 1,000 people. The average age, I mean, there was 2 girls and a guy, and I would say they're probably 21, 22 years old. The girl has got 1.2 million subscribers. The guy has got about 700,000, and I think the other girl's got about the same. And that is their full-time job, making videos. They play Minecraft, they play Call of Duty, and they also play World of Warcraft. But and so of course we're queuing up. Yep, queuing up. I mean, you wouldn't believe. I mean, we're on the main stage, not on the main stage. We're watching the main stage, and there was this YouTuber, a guy called Syndicate, who's obviously completely new to me. And when this guy came on stage, it was like, I don't know, it was like Lionel Messi had just walked into a local football team. I mean, the screaming, the noise, the cheering when this guy came on stage, and I actually had to say to somebody, "Who is that?" And he says, "Oh, that's Syndicate." And I'm like, "What does he do?" "Oh, he plays video games on YouTube." And I thought, bloody hell, I'm certainly playing the wrong games. I'll need to move across to Call of Duty and World of Warcraft. So stuff the retro games, I'm going to be coming mainstream, not. But you know what, going back to what I was talking about, we went up and we got the autographs, and you know, these 3 guys are just kids. They're just kids playing video games. I mean, I didn't recognise the faces because I don't watch them, but you know, when my daughter's watching these videos on YouTube, you can always hear the noises, you can hear the voices, and I recognise the voices of some of them. But it's incredible that, you know, 20-something-year-olds have now, I don't know, I mean, I have got absolutely no idea how much YouTube pay for views. I've got absolutely no idea. Like I said, it's not something that I've ever really thought of doing. If it was going to be a good income, then I'd probably do it, because I'd be crazy not to. But it's just mental that these people have now got, that is their career. They play video games. Now I know in Japan and, you know, such like, they have Street Fighter tournaments and that kind of stuff. I understand that, because yeah, there's a skill, you know, there's money up for grabs, and there's a skill to being good at these games. But these guys are just making videos. They're making videos no differently to what I do or any other YouTuber does. Yeah, the production values might be a wee bit better, but I think the biggest difference is they've wouldn't say they've cornered the market, but they're making videos that appeal to kids my daughter's age. I mean, she's 11. Kids, I mean, all the kids that were going up and asking questions, were probably, I would say, between 6 years old and about maybe 15. There was 1 or 2 older guys that went up, which was quite funny. But it's just mental that you can actually make a career out of YouTube. You know, it's mental. You know, excuse me, she's been going 6 years, I think she says. I've been going, but probably 2 years. She's got 1.2 million. I've got 390. But you know what? Again, it all comes down to subject matter, because you know, you're never going to get 1.2 million people watching a fat old Scottish bloke playing some really shit game on the Spectrum. Yeah, but leading on from that, what I've put in here is it a sustainable income? I mean, as long as YouTube are going to pay money then, and people are going to watch, then yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, there would be nothing to stop 1.2 million people deciding one day, stuff this is rubbish, I'm going to unsubscribe. So they would go from 1.2 million to 0. Now that's unlikely to happen, you know, we all lose subscribers, but that's unlikely to happen. But you know, as long as they're making money in YouTube, I mean, YouTube must be making money out of it, they're making money on adverts. Companies are quite happy to pay for advertising because there's people watching it. So basically, as long as people are watching these people making videos, then I guess there's always going to be an income. But what is to, I mean, I wouldn't imagine that YouTube have got any legal obligation to pay these people. You know, yeah, if they make videos, then they get X amount per view, whatever that is, I don't know. But what would stop, is there anything that could stop YouTube one day deciding, you know what, we're not going to pay, we're not going to have adverts on videos, we're not going to pay people anymore? That would just go, they would suddenly go from, I've no idea, I mean, I know PewDiePie, he's got 30, I think it's something like 30 or 40 million viewers now. He makes, did he make something like $3 million last year? So, I don't know, you can do your sums. Say these kids make, I have no idea, say they're making £50,000 a year. That's a damn sight more money than I'm earning, and probably most people are earning. But yeah, if YouTube decided they were going to change their, you know, their sort of rules and regulations or their conditions, whatever it is, and suddenly these guys didn't have an income, then yeah, I suppose potentially they would be out of a job. I mean, if I was them, if Ava decided she was going to make a YouTube channel and she got really successful and started to make decent money, I would still ensure she had an education and probably a job, and it would only be if you know, her channel was generating a sort of a substantial amount of money that could outdo her salary that she was getting in a job, that I would let her go full time. But I think you have to, these guys have to have some sort of fallback position. I mean, it's not like acting or singing. Technically, they've got some sort of skill. I mean, if you're like a pop artist, and you know, you take up acting. If the acting thing goes tits up, then you can still sing and make a living. But I don't think anyone's going to pay you just to play Minecraft. I mean, let's be honest. There's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people, kids probably just as good as all these 3 YouTubers making videos. But these guys have just been extremely lucky that they've gotten to this position where they're both they're making this kind of money. And the funny thing is, one of the girl that's got 1.2 million and the guy that's got whatever it was, 700,000, they're actually boyfriend girlfriend. So potentially, or technically, the couple, the two of them, between them, their income is YouTube, and it just seems absolutely mental to me. But yeah, what are they doing differently from what other people are doing? It's like anything. It's like making music. There's a lot of luck involved as well. So yeah, but I would certainly say to anybody that's going to make a channel, get yourself an education. You know, get yourself get a full-time job. If your YouTube channel becomes successful and you can afford to sort of give up your full-time job, then do it. But you need a fallback position, because I wouldn't imagine, perhaps some of the guys that are watching this that maybe do have you know, they don't charge, what's the word for it? Monetize, yeah. Perhaps some of the guys that monetize their videos would be able to tell me, could YouTube just overnight decide, we're stopping it, we're cutting it, we're going to, instead of paying, I don't know, 1 pence a view, we're going to pay a tenth of a pence? I don't know. I'm guessing that could probably happen. If everybody's making money, there's no reason why it would happen, but I'm guessing it's something that technically could. So anyway, yeah, that's, I'll pause it a second. Blimey, I just finished this little section and Eva got me to go downstairs. I appeared to have some horrific malware thing on the computer. Completely took over Firefox and Internet Explorer. Lucky enough I downloaded Malware Bytes anti-malware, and I think that's sorted out, but whoa. Anyway, right, what was I talking about? Yeah, rich YouTubers. Well, I'm certainly never going to be one of these, but yeah, it would be interesting to know, is there anything to stop YouTube one day deciding we're not going to monetize videos any longer, or reduce how much people are going to get paid? Interesting question. Right, are there any popular systems that you don't own, and is there a reason, a good reason for not owning them other than you can't afford them? I've probably mentioned this before. I have, well, I think at the last count, 50 odd systems. Now there's two systems which are extremely popular, both Nintendo, which I don't own. In fact, I had one and I sold it. Another one I've never had any interest in actually getting it, and that is the NES and the N64. Now the reason for the NES, I think, is because I have never ever played an NES before. I mean, because I got into computers at a very early, well, not, I wasn't, in fact I was quite old when I got into computers, but I got into computers right at the very start. By the time the NES came out, all my mates, we'd already jumped in the sort of, you know, computer bandwagon. I had a Commodore 64, my mates had Spectrums, so it was pretty much either a ZX Spectrum, C64, maybe a BBC and Amstrad. That's what we had, because then the NES came out, I don't know when exactly it came out a few years later, excuse me. So we didn't have any interest in getting one because we already had something. Now when I did see the odd game, probably in a computer magazine, probably computer and video games, I never thought it looked all that impressive. It wasn't really that much more exciting to look at than what I was playing on my Commodore. I can always remember seeing the Master System. Was it Enduro Racer? I think it was. What was the other game? Like Outrun on the Master System. That did look kind of a step up from my C64, but I always felt that the NES never really looked much of a step up. However, having sort of played an NES via emulation, I know that's not the case. There are some utterly fantastic games for the NES, but another thing as well, I can't really recall seeing the NES on display or for sale in any shops. I don't know, I mean, it obviously was sold in the UK, but it obviously wasn't a big seller, probably because by the time the NES was released in the shops, you could probably pick up, I mean, the games for the NES, I don't know what they were, £20, £30, whatever, but probably by the time the NES was released, you know, the 8-bit market had really found its feet, and you were getting games for, you know, £5, £6, £7, £10, you know, £1.99. So people were looking at, probably myself included, were probably looking at the NES thinking, you know, £30 for that, or I can get a copy, I can get a pirate copy of a game on my C64. That was probably a big part of it as well, the fact that you could get pirated games in 8 bits. I don't recall you being able to play pirate NES games. I mean, there was probably bits of hardware that you could get, but these weren't readily available. There was no such thing as internet back then, so, you know, it was only the very odd kind of geek that would probably have something like that. But yeah, it's probably because it came out quite a bit later. I'd already established myself as a computer person. Games didn't look that much better, although looking at them now, probably a lot of them were. And I didn't have any exposure, my pals didn't have any, you never saw them in shops, and I didn't really ever see them for sale, so it was something that it completely bypassed me. Now you're probably thinking, well, wait a minute, you never had a Sword M5, you never had a CD32, whatever, and that's true. But again, I think possibly because the NES has been so well emulated. I mean, there's emulators for the NES on virtually everything you can think of, and they're absolutely spot on. I just don't have any inclination to own the system. I mean, it's quite a big, chunky machine, and yeah, I really don't have any more room in this room. I mean, I'm looking just above the camera there. I've now got my what do you call it, PlayStation sitting on top of an Xbox 360, which probably isn't a good idea considering the likelihood of a 360 overheating. It's probably not a good idea. But yeah, I'm absolutely jam packed with stuff in this room. I certainly can't go any more with it. Can't get anything else for it. Not that it'll stop me buying anything. So yeah, I don't have the room for an NES. But for all the reasons I've mentioned, I just don't have. I don't have any inclination for one. Possibly if somebody was selling one for 20 quid with some games, I'd go, you know what, I'll take it. But I just don't have no urge at all to pick one up. So yeah. And the second system, which I've already mentioned, the N64. Now, I did buy an N64 back in 1996, I think it was, when Mario 64 came out, which was the launch game, I think. So I did buy one pretty much after launch. Didn't have that many games for it. Wasn't overly keen in it, and I think I sold it. Yeah, I must have sold it to probably fund something else. I did get another one. Oh, when did I get another one? I got another one maybe 3 years ago, and then about 2 years ago I saw somebody was selling the EverDrive cartridge for it. Now these go for about 100 quid, more than £100. I'm sure I got it for 70 quid, which is a steal. So I got this EverDrive cartridge, came back, put all the games in it, and it never got used. Now, why didn't I use it? Partly because I've got too many games, but the big reason was that of any system, it was the one I never ever turned on. In my own personal opinion, and this is just my opinion, nobody else's, there's literally, let me think, what games would I want to play in it? Mario 64 is a classic game, that's a great game. I do miss having that. I do miss being able to play that, but saying that, I've got Mario 64 on multiple other machines, so I can play it if I want to. Any other games in N64? I wasn't into Zelda. GoldenEye, never ever really got GoldenEye, and looking at it now, I just think it looks rubbish. It's really not aged well at all. It's the one system that when you plug into a modern TV, it just looks rubbish. It really does. Even back in the day, it never looked that good compared to other machines, I felt. But the N64 on modern TVs, I just don't think looks good at all. So, but the biggest reason being, other than Mario 64, Mario Kart, even Mario Kart on the N64 is not that great. Yeah, there are no games that I've got any real desire to play. I mean, I know there was games like Diddy Kong Racing, Banjo Kazooie, Banjo Tooie, I think they're called. Was it Kirby? Not Kirby, what the hell was it called? Something Bad Fur Day, whatever it was. Conker's Bad Fur Day. It's got swearing in it. Nah, I've got no interest in playing it at all. So I sold my N64 along with EverDrive about 6 months ago, and I've got absolutely no regrets about getting rid of it. Again, if somebody was to offer me one for maybe a tenner, I would probably take it. But would I use it? Probably not. So yeah, is there any systems, popular systems, that you do not have and don't have any intention of buying for a reason other than it's too expensive, whatever? And what's that reason? So yeah, let's pause it again. Okay, right, I've only got one more thing to mention. Well, there's two because I've got one question, I think. Yeah, now this is one that comes up quite a lot. I've probably covered it already, but it's always quite an interesting one. Gaming regrets, selling or buying. Have you ever bought a system and instantly regretted it? And have you ever sold something sort of retro gaming related and regretted it? Buying regrets. N64. Nah, I didn't, to be fair, I didn't regret buying it. I didn't pay a lot of money for it. I didn't use it, but I didn't regret buying it. Two things which spring to mind. Yeah. Nah, I was going to say my Nvidia Shield. I didn't regret buying it because I did really think, and I still do think, it's an excellent system. I mean, you might have seen my review of the GXD. And as you know, I had a Nvidia Shield. I thought it was way better than the GXD. However, I never used the Shield because the screen is stupidly small. Now, you know, I noticed a few people were commenting on the sort of review thing of the GXD, sort of kind of slagging off a wee bit, saying how great the Shield is. Now, having owned a Shield and have gone to the GXD, my own personal opinion is the Shield is a fantastically powerful machine. There's no question of it. It plays modern games, really powerful. I don't know, 3-4 times as powerful as the GXD. The controls feel excellent. It's like holding a proper Xbox 360 controller. But the biggest problem is the tiny, tiny wee screen. Now, you can argue all you want, but the screen is just stupidly small. Now, anyone that watches my videos knows that I love vertical shoot-em-ups. And when you're playing vertical shoot-em-ups on a screen that's about that high, it's like playing it on a mobile phone. It's just rubbish. It's too small, and to my mind it's not good. Don't get me wrong, you can plug into a big TV, but I've got multiple ways of playing games on big TVs, so I didn't buy it to play on a big TV. I bought it to play on the go. And if the screen was the same size as the GXD, there is absolutely no way I would have got rid of the Shield, but it was tiny, so I got rid of it. And I've got to say, yeah, a few people have been sort of criticising the GXD, saying it glitches and it's not that fast. Well, everything that I showed you, I still stand by. Everything that I've got in it runs sweetly. I mean, they were saying that you need to put a sort of a custom firmware on it. Well, I find even straight out the box it's good. Yeah, the wee gamepads aren't the greatest. They're a bit plasticky, and they also said it can fail as well. It can sort of, you know, break. But if it breaks, I'll send it back and get a new one. But yeah, pound for pound, the GXD is half the price of the Shield. It's a fantastic machine. I mean, the screen is to die for, and you know, let's be honest, video games is all about being able to see the game. So playing it on a lovely, really bright, sharp 7-inch screen, or a tiny wee, I don't know what size it is in the Shield, then I know what one I'm going to favour. So anyway, yeah, the Shield, I didn't regret buying it because it was a great machine, but I never used it, so I sold it. But yeah, probably the one gaming purchase regret that I've got, which I've now solved, was I bought the Amiga. Now, I didn't even do a Mainmeister look at, because I bought it. Now, the Amiga is a new piece of hardware which I think was released as a Kickstarter, which never actually came to fruition, but the guys went ahead and produced this thing. It's a Chinese Raspberry Pi, and they've put on their own sort of software on it, so it doesn't really boot into the Amiga OS, it boots into a menu with all these games. Now, I couldn't get it to display correctly on any of the TVs that I've got. I've got 3, in fact I tried it in 4 TVs, I tried it in 4 of my own TVs, 1 in the living room, 2 in here, 1 in the bedroom, and I also tried it in my mate's one. It wouldn't display properly, the screen was too zoomed in. It displayed properly on my mate's TV, but even running the games, you know, forgetting the fact that it was zoomed in, the games ran too fast. But when I bought it, I mean, it was, what was it, it was just over £100 delivered. When I ordered it, I genuinely thought it was actual proper Amiga hardware. I thought it was a wee mini Amiga, and I thought, that looks awesome. However, within hours of buying it, I then came to realise it's not proper hardware. It's a cheapo Raspberry Pi running an emulator. You know, you can argue whatever you want, it's running under software. And I thought, bloody hell, I've just paid £100 for this thing. So this thing arrived, and yeah, I was a bit underwhelmed with the size of it. It was about the size of a Raspberry Pi. You know, that was it. And like I said, I couldn't get it to display properly, and the actual games, some of the games ran too fast. But because I couldn't get it to display properly, I thought, I don't want to keep this. So I sold it. Now the guy that bought it off me sold it last week. So, and I did say to him, I said, would you mind telling me why have you sold it? I said, I'm genuinely interested to know, did you not like it? I said, I wasn't particularly keen on it. He says to me that he sold it because he's not got the time to use it. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but it's an interesting thing that this thing has only been released literally in the last few months, and already it's been bought and sold twice. I didn't keep it. The guy that I sold it didn't keep it. He only kept it for a few weeks and sold it. So yeah, I must admit, when I bought that and I realised what it was, I'm like, fuck, why did I buy that? But the way I saw it, I thought, well, you know what, I've already got it, I've already ordered it, I can't send it back. It's the kind of thing that if I don't want to keep it, I'm sure somebody will buy it. And as it turns out, I was able to sell it. I think the only money I lost in it was about £8 for postage, so I was quite lucky in that part. So yeah, that's my buying regret. The only selling regret, I mean, you could if I had a time machine, I could say, yeah, my biggest regret was selling my Commodore 64 and all my discs and all my games back in 1986. But you know what? Back in 1986, I didn't want a Commodore 64. I wanted an Atari ST, so I didn't regret selling it back then. Yeah, you know, fast forward 30 years later, then I could see I wish I didn't throw them as art magazines in the bucket. But I suppose the only thing that I've sold which I kind of regret, a wee teeny bit, although I've nowhere to keep them, two things. One was the Vectrex Protector. That was a limited edition game released by, what was his name again? What was his name? Doesn't matter, can't remember. A guy is shit hot at programming for the Vectrex. He released, I think it was 100 copies of this game, Protector, which is basically Defender, in a box at its own overlay. It cost me about £40, and about probably more than that, I would say maybe 5 years ago, I was wanting to buy something. I can't remember what the hell it was I was wanting to buy. It was some piece of tech I wanted to buy, and I couldn't afford it, and I thought, oh, I'll see how much, I'll see if anybody wants to buy Protector. So I went on eBay, and they were going for like £150, £200, and I thought, that'll do me. So I stuck it on eBay, and I think I put buy it now, £200. So I got £200 for it, and the money went on whatever it was, I can't remember exactly. Do I regret selling it? Yeah, probably. I'm not one for collecting it, like for collector items, but it was such a nice game, and it did look nice. It had, I think it was like number 31 or something. Really nice presentation box. I mean, I do have the game on a sort of double cartridge now, so I can still play the game, but I do regret getting rid of that. The other slightly regret that I've got, but I don't have, the reason I sold it was because I've got no room for them, and that still stands, was my collection of LCD games. I started collecting them about maybe 4 years ago, paying not very much money on eBay, and I got, I must have got about 30 of them. All the classics, all the classic grandstand games. You know, your Astro Wars, your Galaxy Invaders, not Star Fox, what was it called? Firefox, all these games. Really good collection, but the problem was I've got nowhere for them, and yeah, that would still, even if somebody gave them for nothing, I've got nowhere to put them. I simply don't have anywhere to display them at all, so they ended up in a box in the loft. And you know what, that's not the right place to have them. I'm better off having money. The good thing is the money that I got for them, almost, I would say 2/3 funded my MAME cab, so it wasn't all bad. But yeah, it would be nice. I don't regret selling them, but it would be nice to have been able to retain them. But I couldn't really use them, I had nowhere to play. And the thing is, to be perfectly honest with you, when you actually play them, after about a minute you're bored. There's very few of them actually worthy of keeping. Yeah, so I don't really regret getting rid of them. It'd be nice to have kept them, but I don't really regret getting rid of them. So anyway, listen guys, that is all I want to talk about. I've got one question which I'll answer in a second. I've been thinking about my lack of playing games, and that still stands. I've got all these systems, and I've come up with an idea that I'm going to hopefully try and do. Where I stick to it is another thing. What I'm going to do is, for a week, I'm going to sort of concentrate. And I say concentrate, probably play 3 or 4 times. I'm going to just stick to one system. So like next week I might say Commodore Amiga. I'm just going to play Amiga games. The next week I'll do the Dreamcast. Next week after that I'll do Spectrum, Commodore 64, PlayStation, Saturn. I'm going to try and stick to one system for a week. Just to get a feel for the system again. It might encourage me to start playing games again. So yeah, that's coming up. I've also got some, well, I'm saying good ideas. I've got some ideas written down for new features. I'm going to try and move away from the features where I do the same thing day in, day out, you know, the arcade perfect my arse, and I don't want to put any pressure. I want to be able to have the complete flexibility to make whatever videos I want to make. But I've got a few ideas for some videos that I'm going to be done. In fact, I actually recorded one today, believe it or not, at lunchtime, and I forgot to record the sound. Yeah, so I went to watch it back, and there was no sound. There was no sound of me speaking. There was no system sound, so I feel a bit of a plonker for that, but shit happens. So anyway, yep, and the very last thing, where are we? Right. This was one that Kevin down the rabbit hole posted not last week, 2 weeks ago, but I completely missed it, so apologies Kevin. Here's one for the Friday Waffle, Alan. Last week you mentioned it would be great if someone did a Kickstarter for bringing back the old handheld games of the 70s, just what we're talking about. Another idea I had for a similar Kickstarter project would be if someone made a plug and play game that uses a steering wheel. Imagine setting a plastic wheel in front of your connecting it to the TV and playing Night Driver, Spy Hunter, Outrun. Wouldn't that be great? I suppose, Kevin, technically you can do that. I mean, you can use, I mean, there are multiple steering wheels for the PC, so really there would be nothing to stop you connecting that to a MAME cab and playing these games with a steering wheel. I must admit, it's something I'd love to try. I mean, what have I got? I've got an Xbox 360 steering wheel. It's a bit of a faff to actually set up, but I've got to say it's really, it's a cracking bit of kit. I only paid £15 for it. I've also got a steering wheel for my original Xbox, and again it's good. But in fact, you know what? I'll need to try that. That's a good point. Thanks for mentioning that, Kevin. I've got an Xbox steering wheel, and I've also got obviously MAME etc. on my Xbox. So I'm wondering, would a steering wheel on the Xbox work on MAME? I'll need to give that a try. Don't see any reason why not, because at the end of the day it's kind of replicating the analog stick of a controller. That's a project for me. I'm going to dig it out. If it works, then you can go and get yourself a nice cheapo steering wheel, Kev. Yeah, good point. But yeah, I suppose if somebody came out with a plug and play that had all these games, I mean, you can get a C64 controller. It's just a joystick, and it's got the games built in. It's basically a miniature Commodore 64. If somebody came out with a steering wheel with an HDMI port that you plugged in your TV, and it's got all these games like Outrun, Night Rider, Spy Hunter built in, then that would be pretty cool. I think it's unlikely we would see it because obviously all the copyright issues and trademark issues that you're going to get when you're trying to sell kind of MAME games. So I think it's unlikely you're going to get a plug and play thing, but yeah, being able to play classic games with a steering wheel would be pretty cool. But like I said, there are steering wheels that are already out there for PCs, so there's no reason why you can't already use that. But I'm going to certainly dig out my Xbox steering wheel and accelerator and try that and see how it works. So yeah, good point, Kevin. You've kind of piqued my interest in it, so we'll see how it goes. I'll be sure, if I get it working, I shall be sure to make a video and let you see it in all its glory. So that's it, guys. Nothing else to talk about. I hope you enjoyed watching it. I hope you have a nice weekend. Please put down any questions that you want for next week's waffle. Coming up, I have got 2 of my subscribers. We're going to be meeting up online on Sunday, I think it is, to record a podcast type waffle type thing. That should be a good laugh. I'm looking forward to doing that. So I'll hopefully get that put out either on Sunday evening, or else early next week. So that's a good one. But like I says, guys, any comments, put them down below. As usual, please feel free to like, comment and subscribe. And as usual, thank you very much for watching.
Thanks for watching my main master channel. Please feel free to like, comment or subscribe. You can also follow me on Facebook and Twitter.